And now moving on to Alexander Owino, who's the Joint Secretary, Parastatal Reforms Implementation Committee of Kenya. So Alexander, drawing on your experience and continental knowledge, give us an overview of the parastatal and municipal bond market opportunities and investment approaches and types of returns that are currently available in Africa.
Thank you, Chair. There are a lot of opportunities that we see in that space. If I focus a bit more on our country, main returns are in the 12% to 15% range, mainly for infrastructure bonds. That's being the benchmark for the sovereign when they borrow. Most of those are tax 12% to 15%.
To 15%.
Tenors of 10 to 15 years are now common. Like you said in your opening statements, very few subnationals have been able to issue bonds directly. In our market, subnational units like parastatals, they tend to borrow directly via the central government, then that is on lent to them. For instance, the Flexing Bank is here. They have recently lent money to Kenya Airways indirectly via the central government, and Standard Bank has lent money to the Kenya Power and Lighting Company, but indirectly via the central government. So very, very few direct subnational bond issues. And I think the challenges have been very, very common. One is the credit rating of the issuers has been either absent or lacking or very low. And one speaker mentioned before that the off-taker must be credible. The other one is the absence of structures to actually ring-fence the revenues, what you may have been calling revenue bonds from the US. We do not have that in very many jurisdictions, and I believe the DACA one also failed partly because of that. Then we also lack sound PFM, or financial management, across at the subnational level. Yes, there are very many parastatals that are very well run, but the kind of financial management that the markets require is actually lacking. Then the markets would also want minimal commingling of principal funds. So if you issue a bond for one purpose, for instance, tuna bonds, do not spend that on another purpose, for instance, defense expenditure. So that commingling of funds, either in the parastatal or in the sub-national municipality, could be very, very poor. We see more challenges again in things like ministers at the center in most of our countries in Africa. They control the PFM laws. They set PFM standards. For instance, they need to guarantee any parastatal borrowing or any subnational borrowing. And this has led to a lot of challenges in our market. So Dr. Wagash and I, as part of our task force, we were actually looking at structures at the national level that can be mirrored at the subnational level. So where the national level can have a county, can have a national state corporation, the counties can also have their own. They can issue their own bonds. They'll have a structure for having it guaranteed. So that is in place. We have a bill before cabinet that will actually advance that forward. And this process, I really want to finish by giving the example that we have in Kenya now. For the first time, the world has seen the first government security issued purely on a mobile platform. That was happening in Kenya, so we're very happy about that. This means that when we go to full scale, we can possibly do $750 million in 7 days. Has never been possible at any one time, globally or on the continent. So that really is a big change.
So you're saying that $750 million of Kenya national debt was sold and people could buy it on their mobile phones?
Potentially, you can do that today.
Today.
We have launched one at initially $150 million, and in June we'll go to full trial. We got a lot of support from MIT in terms of the technical work, but that is now on and is live. We see that as the best way for Africa to actually move towards financing either local infrastructure, but even national infrastructure, using a platform that has never been available before anywhere in the world. And I remember my counterpart from South Africa was wondering, how do you do this? How do you register people? How do you even apply? How do you do the auction process? And I told him the entire infrastructure is available today on M-Pesa. I think the whole world knows what we have in terms of mobile banking. So we believe this is the future for financing infrastructure.
Wow. Okay. Infrastructure financed through individuals buying bonds on their
On the
mobile
mobile
phones.
phone, on Sunday as they're having a beer.
That's wonderful. Wow. The U.S. can take a page from that as well. Okay. Yeah, really, we could clap for that.
Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.